Hey guys, it's Kelsey here. That's not Rachel. That's Kayla Harrison. And Kayla, I always get it mixed up. So one of these ways, I'm pointing at you. I'm excited to talk to you, Kayla. Of course, you're the reigning PFL Women's Lightweight Champion, and now you're going for number 2. How excited are you to kick off the new season?
I'm super pumped. Just a couple days away here, and it's been a long journey to get here. Been a long wait, but the moment is finally almost upon us. So I'm ready.
How's that 17-day quarantine life?
Um, it's not ideal circumstances by any means, and I really hope that the PFL is able to take some constructive criticism from the fighters and the employees and come back with a better system for the next cycle of fights. One thing I just keep in mind is that everybody's doing it. It's not like I'm in a special circumstance or anything. So if it's tough for me, it's tough for everyone. And yeah, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. So.
Okay. Well, it definitely seems like you have a lot of time to think about that kind of stuff while you're there, but also maybe you have a lot of time to hone all that energy in on your next opponent. Is that something that you...
Yeah, for sure. Everything that's gone wrong or, is a bit of a hiccup or is annoying or frustrating or anything like that, I just say, blame my opponent. That's what I say to myself, blame my opponent.
2 housekeeping notes. Last time I talked to you, we talked about Cris Cyborg, women's featherweight Bellator champion and former UFC champ. And what I found surprising is after I posted the video, who slid into my comments but Cris Cyborg? Right? What do you think about that? Like, I don't see you do the same thing. I never see Kayla Harrison slide into videos about, or do you? Do you do that?
No, I don't. I don't even know what she said, but I'm not surprised. I feel like Cris is the type of person who definitely reads all of her own press or anything written about her.
Do you try to stay away from that? Is that?
I look for like I'm not immune. Of course, I read stuff and check it out. I learned a long time ago that you have to have a really thick skin in MMA, and if you're going to be in the public eye, and other people's thoughts or opinions or beliefs or whatever it may be doesn't define who I am. So I don't live my life for the public eye or for people to comment on. I just live my life, and I don't really let that. It's just noise, right? I try not to be distracted by noise. I got enough going on in my life. I don't need any more noise.
Yeah, this is probably a smart way to live your life. Last time I talked to you also, I didn't ask you about Ronda Rousey. And let me tell you why that's. As a person that writes about page views, I'm sure you get asked about Ronda Rousey or have your entire career. And now I bet you get asked about Amanda Nunes potentially fighting your teammate. So my question for you isn't necessarily about either one of those specifically, but what do you get asked about more today?
I definitely get asked more about Amanda nowadays, for sure. And I guess that's just kind of like the story of my life. I'm always chasing a teammate or chasing, I was teammates with Ronda and now I'm teammates with Amanda. I'm always kind of maybe a step behind everyone in a sense. Yeah, I definitely get asked more about Amanda. I feel like every single interview at this point is, will we see this, blah, 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 blah. And,
and that can probably get old.
It just gets old in the sense that, it's very far off. It's very, we don't even fight in the same promotion right now. We don't even fight in the same weight class right now. We're teammates, and she's the greatest of all time. I'm still climbing. So there are a lot of variables there. And I would just like to enjoy my career and, not play the what if game. Obviously, people are excited, which makes me happy, because if they're excited and they're starting to put my name in sync with her, that means that they must think I'm doing something right. So of course it's an honor and humbling for me to even be considered, but I don't want it to be this whole drama thing. No big drama show here, no big drama show.
Yeah, and in part, probably the media tries to create drama because that's what drives page views.
That's what they do.
So here's a question then. I would say that Ronda Rousey was maybe the most important figure in MMA because she created almost single-handedly women's MMA, at least at the general population. And I remember I didn't follow MMA back then. I knew when she was fighting. She was a big deal. But Amanda Nunes obviously is mostly considered the greatest mixed martial artist ever, right?
Yeah.
Who would you rather be? Would you rather be the huge cultural impact and world famous, amazing, rich, whatever person, or would you rather be the Amanda Nunes character?
No, I'd rather be the greatest. I'd rather be the greatest. That's like
Easy.
easiest question I've been asked.
Right. Because you're a 2-time Olympic champion, you're a 1-time MMA champion, you're going for the 2-time. You're going to have to make 2 and 2 here.
Yeah.
Is there anything similar? I know they're obviously the Olympics is 4 years apart, but what's similar?
I mean, just, the pressure, my whole life has, I feel like, been like sort of one big pressure bubble. So it doesn't really feel it just feels like my life to me. I'm excited. I think that one thing that's different now than with the Olympics is by the time I got to my second Olympics, I was really burnt out and I was really kind of just over judo. Like I had won everything there was to win. I had been doing it for decades. I was just like done with it. And I'm not there in my MMA career. I still get up excited to go train. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do very much. I'm just excited to keep winning and keep climbing that ladder.
I read an interview that you did in 2016 with Time Magazine, and you were curious about MMA. It sounded like maybe you were curious about whether you would like it or not, but also how the culture would be different from what you saw in MMA versus judo. So what do you think about the culture of MMA today now that you're in MMA?
Yeah, no, I'm still not a fan.
Okay.
It's tough because I love fighting. I feel like it's definitely what I was born to do. I feel very at home and happy in the cage. I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I feel very at home and happy at American Top Team. And I found a good group of people. But the ugliness of MMA is still very real. And like the problem is there's a lot of money involved, right? So money makes everyone greedy and sketchy and shady. And, that aspect of it, I don't love so much. But I mean, I get paid really well to do what I love. So you got to take the good with the bad.
So you feel like it's worth it. Are you glad? So you're obviously glad that you made that.
Yes. I mean, I think too, like I would have spent the rest of my life wondering what if, what if I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And I'm not a person that lives by shoulda, coulda, woulda. I just you got to go.
Yeah.
Got to be fearless.
Well, I think it's amazing, and I really enjoy watching your career. I think, to me, you're the face of the franchise. You're the face of the PFL franchise, and you have been, right?
Thank you.
They brought in like a lot more stars. You're still, to me, the face of the franchise, but now the franchise is looking pretty great right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where PFL is today versus maybe when you started there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud. I helped build this organization. I was with it before it even started. I was with World Series of Fighting. I had my debut here. And like it or not, this will always be a part of my history as well as the PFL's history. We are symbiotic. I feel like you can't talk about Kayla Harrison without the PFL, and you can't talk about PFL without Kayla Harrison. So I'm really happy about where it's gone and how much it's grown, and I hope it continues to do so.
Do you have your little ones there with you?
I do, yeah.
I didn't even know that. How's that been?
Not ideal.
It makes my heart feel full though.
It is a lot of fun, but they are, they're here with me. Obviously I'm their sole guardian right now, so can't leave them anywhere for 17 days.
Right.
Single mom life makes things a little bit more difficult, but we've just made it an adventure. We've made it, I'm ready to, I blame my opponent. I'm ready to get out of here.
You're okay. Yeah, you're probably, and this is fight week. So and Ian's short fight week because you fight Thursday.
Yeah.
You feel like you can accomplish your goals in PFL if PFL continues to grow, or do you feel like you would have to leave?
That's really up to the PFL. It's not up to me to, if they can bring in the big names, if they can bring in the greatest, then I can stay and I can fight the greatest here. But if they can't, then in order to accomplish what I want to accomplish, I need to fight the greatest.
Well, you're a millionaire. What's that like? Do people call you that? I would just call you that every day. Every time.
I mean, I don't, no one, they make fun of me. Like when I'm like that, nothing in my life changed when I won $1 million. And
good.
I like still text like Dan or Richie and I'm like, hey, what's your password for UFC Fight Pass or whatever? And they're like, you're a millionaire, pay the $15. And I'm like, no.
Oh no.
But I mean, it definitely came in handy when I had a whole year of no fighting. So that was good. A blessing for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't fight for money. It's not a motivator for me, but obviously with kids, those little suckers are expensive. So, uh,
Yeah. That would
got
came in
to
handy, that $1 million. I imagine 2 million would be better.
2 million will be way better because I got two of them. So,
I also read a CNN interview from 2017 where you described your younger years. You were a 16-year-old car wreck, right? You went through
yeah.
a lot of adversity early in your life. I suffered a similar kind of adversity early in my life. So when I saw that you wrote a book called Fighting Back, you co-authored a book about that journey from early childhood, I'm assuming early childhood abuse,
Yep.
into the person you are today. To me,
Yep.
that filled my heart really big as well, and also made me think, wow, I hope more people get to hear about that, because there's so many people in the world who suffer things like that. So I wonder if you could talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm very sorry to hear that you suffered similarly. But that is kind of the whole reason that I started sharing my story. You know, it's no secret that I was sexually abused by my first judo coach. Whether we like it or not, whether we realize it or not, that kind of trauma leaves scars. You know, there I don't have any physical wounds that you can see on my body, but I have scars, and anyone who suffers from child sexual abuse has scars. And also, whether we realize it or not, a lot of people have those scars. You know, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted before the age of 18. And when I realized that number, and I realized how prevalent it is in our society, I knew that um, I wanted to make a difference. You know, I wanted to use my pain and turn it into something good in the world. And I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that, you know, I went through what I went through so I could help change the world. And that's a big part of the reason why I do MMA. It's a big part of, you know, I believe I won those gold medals for a reason. I believe that I'm going to be a champion and I'm going to have this huge platform for a reason. And it's not so I can win a lot of money and be super famous and like, I don't know, like go on MTV Cribs or whatever. It's so that I can change the world and leave behind a lasting legacy and have an impact, you know. So that's why I wrote the book. That's why I have the Fearless Foundation, because if I can change just one person's life, if I can make it a little bit better for one young Kayla or one young Kelsey going through something like that, and they can see, hey, I'm not alone. This happens to other people. I don't have to suffer in silence. I can speak up. I can be fearless. I can find my light again. And if I can encourage them in any small way, or if I can show them there is light at the end of the tunnel, or 2 shiny gold medals, or a PFL World Champion belt, then I'll be doing something good in the world that's not just about me. You know, fighting is selfish and winning gold medals is selfish, but my foundation and the legacy that I leave behind is something that I'm most proud of. And you know, I want to educate the world. I want the numbers to go down. I want it to be less than 1 in 4 and 1 in 6. I want to change the world.
I think that that's amazing, and I'm really grateful that you do that with your life, because I understand how difficult it can be to bring those things into light, and also understand that maybe people don't want to put it in the light, right? Like people don't want to ask you about it, or people don't want to talk about it because it's easier just to push away.
I mean, I think that that is one reason, you know, to be quite honest with you, the reason it was something when I moved to Boston, like I was a car wreck. I was suicidal. Didn't want to do judo, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to brush my teeth, didn't want to brush my hair. Like I was a mess. And slowly but surely the Pedros and my teammates and having judo, having a goal, going to therapy, it brought me back to life. It was shortly before the 2012 Olympics. A reporter came and she asked me about, you know, she said, "Oh, Jimmy had mentioned that you've been through a lot of struggle in your life to get here. Do you want to talk about that?"
Mm.
And it was right when the Jerry Sandusky scandal was breaking. It was right when Penn State was, you know, having all of this chaos. And I remember that I got in a fight with my best friend because Joe Paterno had lost his job, and she like made a Facebook post about it or something.
Yeah.
And I saw on the news that kids were, you know, college kids were rioting and like setting cars on fire and like doing all this crazy stuff. And I couldn't believe that I lived in a society where my peers were rioting over a football coach losing his
Yeah.
job, but weren't rioting for the countless victims whose lives had been changed forever by this man's actions. And I realized that it's because that's how sexual abuse stays alive, is because people there's no face to it. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to think about it. It's like this really taboo thing. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to be quiet anymore. I don't want to be silent. I don't want there to not be a face. I don't want people to think that this is okay or normal to like, it's not. So it was the scariest thing I ever did, but I started speaking out and I basically haven't shut up since. I think it's the most important work I'll ever do aside from raising my kids. I think it needs to be done.
I think that's great. I think that you're a super admirable person. And I kind of like felt that before I learned all the reasons why you're a super admirable person. So I'm grateful to know that my heart leads me in the right direction. And I can't wait to see you fight the rest of your season. I can't wait to watch your career grow. Kayla Harrison, thanks for coming on and sharing your words, your thoughts, and your emotions.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.